students, in this particular video of mine, I'm going to welcome each one of you again. And from here, he in the sense that Vishwanath Bhatt starts off with the knowledge of the words. That's what, and loosely, I would say that the translators or the commentators called it as verbal knowledge, nature of the verbal knowledge. However, I thank Professor V.N. Jha sir, and there are others who belong to the traditional schools again, and they have specified that it is not nature of the verbal knowledge, rather than it is the knowledge of the words, and that's why they call it as the Shabd Khand or Shabd Gyanam kind of a thing, or the other word which Vishwanath Bhatt uses in his book Nyaya Siddhanta Muktavali is Pada. Now, Pad, there is a lot of difference between Pad, Shabd, as well as the verbal knowledge, I would say, and we will see later on. However, I'm not entering into those intricacies as of now. I'll just start off with here. Now, he begins his discussion with the words Padagyanam Triti, it is Triti, and here let us understand as to what exactly does it mean to us if we look into his shlokas. Now, here you will see that the origin of the verbal knowledge or the origin of the Padagyanam, he says, is described to us with the help of the words, and he says through words we begin the cognition itself. Now, did you understand that what exactly it is he means? Now he has given to you the understanding and the basis of the perception, and he closed the chapter over there, and now he says that with the help of the words we enter into the domain of the cognition with the help of the words, and the entire verbal knowledge, he says, begins with the description with the help of the words. And now you should be able to link it with Russell's theory, wherein he discusses about knowledge by acquaintance and knowledge by descriptions. Now, that is how. Now, you see, if you remember when I was discussing the paper Denoting Minds, and when in one of the paragraphs he introduces theory by knowledge by acquaintance and knowledge by descriptions, I said that acquaintances belong to the realm of the sensory experiences, and now I hope you would be able to link it, associate, and understand as to how he is entering, and how knowledge by acquaintance is different with the help of the knowledge by the description. So here the same thing is taking place. Now, from here they say that presence of words, okay, means two things for us. One, we know it. It is known. It is in the past tense. Remember that he is using the word known, which means it's in the past tense. So, because it's a recollection. Recollection means what? It is not in the present tense. When it is in the present tense, it means that you are experiencing it, and there is no difference. The moment you differentiate it, you have it has become a past tense for you, and therefore the word known has come to you. Number one. Number two, it is being heard. Heard is what? You hear the word. So one is known, and together he says known as well as being heard, and within the known also there is the absence of the words, like silence. Now you see, this is the wonderful way in which he enters more into the intricacies, which we should take it care from our end, and remember that yes, he is talking about certain things which it was missing in the Western philosophers. For example, in Austin's book, if you will see, he is talking about only the spoken knowledge. He did not talk about the he talks about the utterance of the words. He did not talk about the silence of the words. Now, if a person is silent, does that mean the person there's nothing taking place in that person's mind, or the intellect is not working? Now, this is how you need to understand and raise certain questions for Vishwanath Bhatt on one side. On the other hand, Frege as well as Russell also, they don't touch upon the topic of absence of the words, which is in the form of the silence. So known can be understood in two ways. One is verbal, which is the spoken language, you can say, or the utterances, like Austin Austen uses. So that is one way in which I can know about certain things, and the other one is the non-verbal part. Now, whether non-verbal can be understood in the form of the gestures or not, we are not aware of it, okay, in Vishwanath Bhatt. However, he talks about in terms of the silence, which is not talked in Western philosophers. So now you are able to connect and understand that yes, gestures are spoken, discussed in I would say by Western philosophers, whereas this thing is being not present in the Vishwanath Bhatt's book, whereas silence is being discussed by Vishwanath Bhatt. However, the rendering of silence by Austen or Russell or Frege is not being taken care of. So I hope this part of it is clear to us. Now, so you have on one hand what I call it as known through verbal language as well as the non-verbal. Now, verbal, it can be spoken or utterances, and in Vishwanath's book he is calling it in terms of acts, whereas Austen also call it as acts or actions in that one. Whereas in Frege, there is no description about the actions or anything. He just talks about propositional statements. That's it. Whether it is spoken, uttered, thought, no classification. Russell also the same thing. So now you have to demarcate it and understand these things also side by side. Being heard. Now, what does that mean, being heard? It means that there is a listener and a speaker. So here you can distinguish and say that there is a speaker and there is a listener who is present, and the listener is able to hear to the speaker, and the overlapping thing we have seen in Austen, we have seen in Frege and even in Russell. However, it is more active, I would say, in the case of Vishwanath Bhatt, and you will see later on the practical applications of it, and you would be able to know that yes, he is introducing these things also. So this part forms first part of the discussion. The second part wherein he introduces the word Padhartha Dhiriti. Now, what does this mean? It means that Pad plus Artha is also there. Artha is the meaning of the words is also present, and Dhiriti. Dhiriti means the knowledge is also taking place side by side. So how would you understand the word Padhartha Dhiriti? He says that knowledge of the meaning of the words, and this is through the actions only. Now here you will see that in a very clear form the operational thing, which is the active part of it, has been described in this particular picture, which you can understand, and through this operation he introduces the most popular word which we are all looking forward, and that is denotation of the words. So Padhartha Dhiriti is the one which discusses more about denotation and the manner the things are. So let us understand this particular part of it, which is very important from the discussion as well as from the examination point of view. Now here you will see that word is there. If words somehow they are produced through the recollection, which we have already seen, and words also has a meaning with the help of the recollection, and that is the operation. Okay, operation in the sense something is going to take place. Now he says along with it, the object is existing in the thing, and with the help of the words, we know that here there are names, and these names are what forms the denotation, which means the name performs or operates the denotation or denoting an object which is present in the external world. Again, I am repeating myself. This is the word. Word comes from a name. Name is the one which is operating as a denotation to denote an object which exists in the world. So here with the help of the word Padhartha Dhirati, you can understand that yes, he is talking about the operationalism of the denotation of the words via the help of the names for an external object. So this is how he begins with the denotation, and let me come back to another discussion where we can understand more about certain things and we can move ahead. Till then, thank you students and take care. Bye.